Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to some more StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it is time for a good old Zerg vs Protoss live game. Played against none other than Mr. Barcode. Very exciting nickname, something you guys probably have never seen before. I mean, this guy holds like 50 accounts in top 50 Grandmaster, guys. It's pretty, like, he basically owns all, right? That didn't make any sense, I'm sorry. Anyways, we're playing on the Photon Terraces. This map recently got changed to have a bunch of extra gold bases everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 of those right from the get-go. Gonna try my very best to hold on to them. And, you know, we're gonna go double hedge before making a spawning pool. I think that's an okay move right now. Seems like it's relatively safe, at least at the moment as well. The only reason why Cannon Rush is still a thing is because Zerg players got this greedy. I mean, primarily speaking... Oh my god. You almost could have blocked that. Most of the time, though, if it's like a single hatch before a pool and they do a Cannon Rush, it doesn't really, you know, do a whole lot. It doesn't really affect the game all that much. I do want to start moving out with a probe or with a drone here. Should arrive there in time to make that second hatchery. I'm actually going to be sending this overload first over there, and then we'll send it over there instead, just to spot for any kind of potential cannon rushes. He did just scout the natural out. Could have gone for a cannon rush there, but I highly doubt it. That's the only real risk that we're running into here. Gonna go ahead and check out exactly if there's anything fancy going on, and I'm also just gonna... Yeah, he's actually checking the other base. He's actually checking the other base. Alright. I'm also going to be getting the gas geyser right now. So, right from the get-go, a little bit of, like, economy cheese-ish. Although this is one of the more standard build orders right now to go for. I mean, yeah, he does know about my third base right now. I mean, there's very little they can do early on other than, like, double adept aggression. Obviously, he could be going for just simple, straight-up 4-gate play. Which would suck, because at that point, I'm probably not going to be able to do too much. Although, even then, I think I'm still going to be in a fine position to take the victory, just because he's not going to be able to produce very much if I still have a bunch of drones at the gold base. Now, I'm going to transfer a couple of these dudes. Do want to make sure that I get some big amounts of income right from the get-go. And as soon as I can, I will be adding on my 3 queens. I also am going to need some early game Zerglings. I'm going to go up to like 8, I think, just to make sure that we... you know, don't lose randomly to a bunch of adepts pushing out. Don't exactly know the timing that they come in at, but this should be a-okay right now for the moment. Gonna be pulling the drones out of gas here. Starting up 2 queens right from the beginning, and I probably should actually... Nah, I'll just leave you in there then. I'm gonna be starting up the Zergling speed immediately. So, yeah, you can see that is a very, very late cybernetic score, so I'm just gonna simply drone up here. We don't have to worry about early game adept aggression anymore, just because they can't make them without that thing. That means that I'm also gonna, like, slow down on that 3rd queen just for a little bit. We'll put down a creep tumor with the queen and the natural instead, and go from there. Obviously, do need to have vision of, like, my opponent's base and whatnot. Yeah, he's mining there from the golden mineral patch, just going for the nexus first. Very greedy play right there by him. Did I just accidentally... I didn't mean to inject that 3rd. Accidentally pressed my spacebar there. All is good, though. All is good. So the biggest amount of aggression here is gonna come when my opponent finishes up, you know, any kind of potential oracles. And oracles will be flying across the map roughly 4 minutes into it. I'm gonna be starting up a bunch of sport crawlers right around the 4-minute mark, just because we can. And I did make 8 Zerglings just now, because they are enough to deal with 2 adepts, because you can surround them, so... Zergling speed is about to finish up as well. So far, we got a stupid amount of economy already. This is very nice. Adding on the drones back into the gas guys are a little bit sooner than I normally do. Just because we do have 2 gold bases, and the gold bases do obviously provide a ton of extra income. I'm gonna be spreading us as much creep as possible as well, because we do need, like, you know, creep vision everywhere. And I'm gonna start taking up towards a lair a little faster. So notice, like, I'm trying to adjust here for the additional income that I will be getting very shortly from those golden mineral patches, especially once I get closer to maxing out. Looks like he may actually be contemplating to get another base really early on. Although those are double Stargates. Those are 2 Stargates, and I know what we do against 2 Stargates. We're just gonna be getting some sport crawlers for the moment. These are a little bit early. I don't really need to make them like that, but... I think that we're gonna be forced here to either play Heavy Queen or to play, like, Muta Ling Bane or, like, Muta, oh man, that Sport Crawler's in a weird position. Or, like, Roach Ravager or, like, you know, Roach Corruptor Ravager, rather. Those kind of units will be doing really well. Main part of the story, though, for the moment, is that we need to figure out what kind of army he's actually going for here. Whether or not he's trying to take a 3rd base. So it looks like, yeah, he's actually going for a 3rd base right now. I'm gonna make a couple more Zerglings here, just because I don't really want him to take a 3rd. Well, actually, no, we're not gonna do that at all. I'm just gonna let him have that 3rd, and I'm gonna go ahead and make my next base myself as well. How's that not falling? Wow, I thought I had that kill on that third base for sure there. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate for us. I got my Spire coming up right now. He seems to be going Void Ray. So that should be alright. I'll be adding on a couple of queens here, just for the moment. And we'll just keep spreading this creep forward. So a little bit of a sloppy early game here by me. This is my first game of the day. And obviously playing and talking at the same time is always a little difficult. But we should be alright here. We should still be fine. I think we could like start teching up towards a whole bunch of corruptors and try and piss on his natural. I mean, we could also just piss on his main base actually. There's a lot of different kinds of piss we can take. Very important, guys. Always keep in mind where you can piss with your Zerg units. Alright, let's move these dudes over. Make sure we don't have any access ones. You head towards the fort base here. We do need more workers, by the way. It's very easy to get caught in the trap of not having enough workers when you take the double gold. I'm actually gonna start making workers right now. Put up 2 spores here, just because this is the most vulnerable base. And I guess that's a fake one. Yep. Gonna get the armor upgrade immediately. Spread some more creep immediately as well. And just keep on making more workers here. Alright, so it's time for some corruptors. I'm gonna be using the Zerglings as hotkey number 1, and then use the corruptors as hotkey number 2. It's probably a little faster that way. Do want to leave some Zerglings over there as well. I'm gonna need at least like 10 or so corruptors here while teching up towards the hive. That's gonna be the main goal here. Also gonna be going for the double Evo chambers. The fact of the matter is that he took 2 Stargates, right? Him moving out right now is a very small chance, and I know that that is the case just because he won't have that big of an army, and it's very vulnerable early on. Like, the queens do surprisingly well against small numbers of, you know, Void Rays. So I want to go up to, yeah, that is 10 corruptors right now. I don't exactly know how much of an army he's gonna go for, but we got a huge economy right now. We can start getting whatever army we please. I'm adding on more queens here, just because I'm assuming here he's gonna play mass air. And we'll just do some moving about. Yeah, he's gonna play super hardcore turtle. Super hardcore turtle Protoss. I think we may just go for mass queen into Brute Lord. Together with some corruptor. I think that would make sense. I'm gonna cancel that. Go for the armor upgrades. Okay. So my opponent does not look like he's gonna move out anytime soon, right? I mean, he's even making cannons. That basically says, okay, my army is gonna be small. If he can, like, kill one of his bases, that would be huge. Now, beating mass air usually is done by just having a lot of queens out and having, like, a lot of corruptors out. The armor upgrades here are really important too. Gotta get these armor upgrades on your air army. So those are about to finish up. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna like just simply piss on his base. Oh well. Oh man, he's going for those things? Carriers? Alright then. I'm gonna try and just kill whatever I can find here. Now, the prismatic alignment did just get activated. Prismatic alignments murders those things. I shouldn't have done that. Those are a little silly. Alright, so he's going mass air. He's going mass air. We're gonna go double spire at that point. I'm adding on as many queens as I possibly can, while also making sure that I get the economy going here that I need in order to sustain this. Gotta keep in mind, this base is gonna start mining out very soon. And I need to have, like, replacement for that ready to go. Alright then. So here's the scary thing. Once this has like a really big army, and once it like really is like a near maxed out army of him, this becomes a massive issue for us. We need a couple of Brute Lords here, not too many. We don't need too many of them. I'm gonna go ahead and get these upgrades as well as like a Ultra Cavern, just so we can switch. And we're just adding on as many Corruptors right now as possible. Do want to keep in mind that I don't want him to take a 4th base. The 4th base is where things get scary. 3 bases we can take. 3 bases we can take. Alright. So I'm leaving the Zerglings over there. Adding more and more Corruptors. Corruptors and Queens are a great way of dealing with a mass air army. Alright, so he knows where I'm located right now. We gotta bait that prismatic alignment before we want to engage that army though. That's gonna be kind of the terrifying part. Do you think we can piss it down real quick? No, I highly doubt it. Okay, getting the Great Aspire. Trying to take this slow, trying to take this methodically. I know he's gonna mine out those 2 bases, or at least one of the bases very shortly. Okay, guys, just do a round of injects.
Mineral field depleted.
Actually, that base is already gonna be mined out. I kind of wanted to engage him right now. I have vision of practically all bases on the map. Or at least like the most likely ones that he's gonna be taking. This one also hasn't been taken yet, so... I'm just gonna nuke him. I'm just gonna nuke him. I need to like start trading army here. This is like his main mining base. That base falls so quickly though. Okay, after a couple seconds, as you can see, like the burst damage, like I believe it quadruples. That's worth it for sure. Okay, we got a lot of queens here. Gonna get the armor upgrades first. And basically what we need to do is target fire down the carriers, while making sure that we also deal with the rest of his army. Now, he's playing heavy turtle style, right? I haven't really seen very much out of him, other than those initial couple of carriers. And I know that those are really going to be the only unit that he's going to be focusing on here early on. Gonna be putting some of those units into the hotkeys as well. And we're just gonna keep on expanding here. I could technically go for a lot of static defense as well. Don't think I really need to. We're just gonna start moving forward here. I want to, like, you know, move them out of that, like, area, I suppose. We're gonna be starting up some spore crawlers here too. And I guess we'll, like, you know, set up a run-by with the Zerglings or something like that. Okay. And with some spore crawlers, I mean a couple. Alright. So, these Zerglings, I don't know, I'll set them up for a run-by into the natural. These can do whatever they want. Oh man. Okay. Wow, I actually lost that? Interesting. Okay, we're running with the Zerglings now. I will start like launching away here, trying to not get too many Brute Lords here either. Just because I know that that is not gonna like help me out very much. Moving the spore crawlers forward. And slowly and methodically trying to kill them. Okay, transfusing like mad. Trying to target fire here with the corruptors, making sure that, you know, we don't lose any ones of them in particular. And my opponent decides to leave the game. Alright, so here we are in the replay of this game. Now, after finishing up this game, I want to try and clarify a couple of points that I think are pretty important, at least because I get questions about how to deal with, you know, mass Protoss air all the time on the live stream. And I think this is a pretty clear-cut example on how to be dealing with it if you know that it's coming. So the very first step to do, or the very first step to recognize, is that first off, you need to like make sure it's not gonna be a 2-base all-in early on, obviously. Because you know, if he's going Immortal Sentry all-in or whatever, you need to go ahead and defend that. And then at that point, a little later, you have to also recognize whether or not it is going to be a 3-base all-in. And the easiest way to tell that, at least at higher level play, is to see like a line of cannons like that. No high-level Protoss player is really going to be you know, simply sitting there on like on a bunch of cannons for no apparent reason, other than them, you know, wanting to turtle up and wanting to get a big army. Now, almost every time that this is the case, you can assume that they are going to be going for a massive amount of air, just because that is the sort of thing that Photon Cannons really help out with. I mean, you need a lot of gas in order to actually get the air units out, and because you have excess minerals, you can either do Zealot run-bys or you can play super turtly by going for a Photon Cannon. So step one is recognizing that it is indeed going to be mass Stargate. In this particular case, my opponent went for 4 freaking Stargates that are all producing a carrier at a time. Second thing to recognize is that like fighting this army once it's maxed out is very difficult, and usually it seems to max out right about 14 or so minutes into the game. Sometimes a little faster, sometimes a little slower. I try and not pay too much attention to that because I can't really give you a solid number on it. But the basic understanding or the basic idea behind that is that you need to make sure that you try and attack before that happens. Now, as far as the army composition goes, You obviously want something to force the Protoss out, right? If you fight here with the Queens, the Cannons are gonna do quite well, but the Brute Lords can easily outrange them. So notice in this army, I got 2 freaking Brute Lords, and I'm morphing in like a couple more in just a second. But I mean, you don't really want to go over like 5 or 6 Brute Lords, I don't think, and the rest is all gonna be Corruptor Queen. So in this particular case, I got 25 Corruptors and 21 Queens. So here's the idea. As soon as the army of the Protoss player swoops in, there's a couple things that we have to worry for. First off, it's the Prismatic Alignment. Prismatic Alignment is an ability on the Void Ray that allows them to actually deal bonus damage to armored units. And surprise, surprise, Corruptors are indeed armored units. Secondly, the one thing that we also have to worry for is the interceptors that are being launched by the Protoss player when, you know, he's attack moving with the carriers. And the interceptors basically are these little dudes that are flying about. Now, since the Corruptors are doing very high single target damage but have a very slow attack speed, it is hard to use them for cleaning up the interceptors, and usually the Queens are, you know, meaning or like dealing with that. So most of the time, what I try and execute here, while having this big army out and while having a huge economy to potentially reinforce this, I mean, look at my bank right now as well, it's pretty insane. So, you know, I'm basically pushing at a relatively okay time, but once you're actually in the engagement, here's what you want to try and do. So let me speed up so we get to the point where my opponent is indeed moving out. The Spark Crawlers, by the way, do help out a lot as well, but yeah, those are mostly just there to also kill interceptors, and we just force them out of his position. But anyway, so how exactly do you want to go ahead and engage this army? So you gotta watch out for the Prismatic Alignment is he's having a heavy Void Ray. Now in this particular case, he only has a couple Void Rays. I'm not too worried about that, but if he's mass Void Ray, you definitely want to back off and simply like re-engage as soon as there are, you know, a lot of the Prismatic Alignment timings have run out. Now here's how I do want to engage, okay? I need to make sure that I'm fighting with the Corruptors and shift queuing between his units, okay? I want to make sure that I shift queue between the carriers and actually target fire them down. So basically you will see me attack move on one of them and then shift queue between all of the other units that are there, right? So those are not attack moving, those are commanding on top of the carriers primarily because I want to make sure that those are going down as soon as possible. If I let them attack move, they're gonna fight interceptors, their attack speed is way too slow for that. As far as the rest of the army goes, I attack move behind this army with the Queens to make sure that they are fighting whatever they can fight, so they're always gonna be in range to fight, and I'm trying my very best to like transfuse with all the Queens on the Corruptors. So notice how much energy all these Queens have. I mean, most of them have like multiple transfuses available. I think all of them actually do. And I'm basically just trying to transfuse whatever is low HP, primarily speaking the Corruptors. Then in between though, I do want to make sure that I am stutter stepping forward with the Queens. So the Queens are like moving forward, forward and forward, just because obviously once his army moves back a little bit, I still need the Queens to be in range of, you know, practically everything else. And also one of the reasons why I'm target firing down, or why I'm stutter stepping forward with the Queens, is so they can take a couple of pop shots at the interceptor. So it's a little bit of a complicated fight, but long story short, separate hotkeys for the Queens, separate hotkeys for the Corruptors. Make sure that you have your Brute Lords to try and bait them out. Do get, you know, as patient as you possibly can be. Then shift attack command with the Corruptors, attack move forward with the Queens, and transfuse the Corruptors. So let's like look at this army once, or like at this fight once again. So I'm basically moving forward right here, trying to target fire down. Initially, I do target fire down the Corruptor or the Void Rays there, but I'm just simply trying to, like, you can see that little move right there, right? You can see little moves like this, where the Corruptors are, like, not actually target firing down a unit from my opponent, you know, one of the big dudes, but they're actually working on the interceptors. That's not what you want to have done. So I'm like retargeting in just a second. There we go. I'm retargeting again. And now I'm transfusing like absolute mad on all of these Corruptors, making sure that they do not fall. And that is the basic gist of it. That is the basic gist of it. So first off, it is all about analyzing what is coming your way. Secondly, it is all about getting the army that you need to be going for. In this particular case, very important, by the way, get the Zerg Flyer Carapace upgrade. This upgrade makes it way easier to beat these armies. If you go attack upgrades, it's much more difficult. In general, if you're not sure what to get on air, make sure to go armor first. It helps out a lot. And then make a couple Brute Lords, bait them out, and, well, then try your very best to micro it. I hope this video helped you out in, you know, dealing with mass Protoss air. I know it can be annoying to deal with, but you just simply gotta try your best, and hopefully you will be able to manage as well. If you have any additional questions, let me know down below the like button in the comment section of this video. I will try my very best. And other than that, I want to thank you all for watching, Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!